Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we are jumping back into our game with Lanka. It's turn 41, and we had a bit of a whirlwind of last episode where we just went kind of turn to turn. It's kind of chill, kind of just, we were just talking about turtling and building up our economy and all sorts of that business. And this turn, we've got a few things. One is, okay, so apparently things have kind of happened. So I had told you that Ctis was attacking Vanheim, and it appears that the first battles have happened. And I'm going to kind of share the story of what happened here. So what has happened here is Helheim. Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to get all the details of this right, but Helheim, who's right here, had decided to attack Macone, right? Because Macone had a lot of the juicy Niflheim lands. I think this happened this turn, and I think they got basically crushed. Like they had a pretty big attack force, they got crushed. Meanwhile, Vanheim, I think at the same time decided to attack. No. Ctis declared war on Vanheim, and as part of Ctis declaring war, he had talked to Macone. And I think this was kind of a condition of their peace because Ctis actually, especially early, is a pretty good matchup against Macone because, well, elite warriors trade pretty well with troops in general, especially when they're buffed. And if you want to use any of the giants and stuff, then like enslaved mind communions or soul slay communions are going to mess them up something fierce. So anyway, Macone didn't want to fight Ctis, and instead they were going to be an ally, and so Ctis kind of attacked down through this channel into Vanheim. But part of the condition of that would be that Macone would mess with Vanheim, or attack Vanheim. And anyway, Macone did it, but he's not really launching a major invasion. Instead, he seems to be more interested in going after Helheim. And he had just taken, maybe I missed some of this, I might have had scouts here. He won some major fights, and he's taken this throne now from Helheim. And so Helheim's now, his cap's right here, but he's now kind of on his last legs. God, I really missed some of the timing of this when I was telling you, because I've already prepared to basically send in an attack force. Helheim's lost most of his troops. He might be able to have one last hurrah for his capital, but he's gotten basically completely crushed by Macone. And like Macone was doing excellent scripting, and I think Helheim's scripting wasn't very good. That's partially what happened. But yeah, anyway, we're going to be sending in a bunch of goons to come take this throne. This is the throne of basically going to give me +1 MR on my bless, which is going to be really nice. It's this one, which is super good for me, especially if I end up fighting Ctis. But Ctis has also launched his invasion from the south into Vanheim, which I think he was. I was telling. We talk a lot, the Ctis player and I was kind of like, dude, if you attack Vanheim, you kind of are going to force my hand into a war. And he's like, well, no, you could still go through the candles and attack other things. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, well, if you let me attack, then you can have some of the stuff that Vanheim has. I was like, yeah, I guess. Maybe that would kind of work, and I could attack through here. And so anyway, what we kind of agreed was that, if he attacked Vanheim and won, then I would get, like, these provinces. Like, the things on my side of Vanheim, and he would get, all this. But I tell you, I still don't feel very comfortable with that. Because, like, this is, especially for a nation that can put a huge amount of raiding pressure. I mean, I can't do magic phase attacks and stuff. You want to attack through a big border. I don't really want to go attack somebody through, like, a few janky cave provinces. That's not how I want to conduct my war. Like, cave provinces are slow, right? So logistics be horrible. And I'm like a fast nation. I've got undead, which can march across the map. Caves are kind of nice to me for the darkness, but not a huge fan. Anyway. Here's the army he is moving in to attack Ctis with. So let's take a look. He's got, I think oh God, I really have missed a lot. This is the second army he attacks Ctis with. The first army he came in with, Ctis. Okay, so, God, I really wish I had more scouts out to show you this, because it's really just going to be story time. The first major conflict that Ctis had with Vanheim, Ctis crushed Vanheim. Like, killed all their stuff. Um, and I think his god, I think the Vanheim god was there to do earthquake, and so like he cast earthquake, but like once or something, and then his troops ran in and died or something like that. So anyway, that was a thing. But then Ctis, feeling pretty confident after that victory, marched his first army into Vanheim. And it is abysmal that I don't have any scouts. He marched his first army into Vanheim, and he had like a pretty clustered formation, like a big communion ball and some troops out in front. And what ended up happening was Vanheim summoned a shit ton of air elementals, like 60 gems worth of air elementals, and the big ones. And he also did Earthquake, and the Earthquake messes with the Skelly spam. I think before he was trying to do his Earthquake early, like turn 2, and he switched to doing it later. I think that was the other change. But anyway, the Earthquakes wiped out all the skeletons. The air elementals killed all the remaining skeletons and mages. And it was a very expensive fight for Vanheim in terms of gems, but it wiped out the Ctis army. So Ctis is coming in with army number 2. And this army's spread out, so it's not going to be very vulnerable to air elementals. Because, well, it's still going to be vulnerable, but, you know, trample's area of effect, so they're going to be only hitting 1 per trample instead of 2 or 3. And they're spread out, so once one dies, they have to kind of wander over to a different guy. So anyway, that is the plan, and here's the force coming in. And right now, our frame of mind is, well, you know, if Ctis beats Vanheim and we get to Vulture a tiny bit, we're okay. I feel very confident in my mid-game and late game. So I don't, you know, ideally I kind of steamroll and get bigger, but I also don't feel like I have to. And I'm fine to just kind of sit and wait this out and Vulture a little bit. But I'm also pretty hesitant thinking that somehow Ctis can have this whole border and like be a big thin slice and then not go to war with me. I don't really see how that is going to happen, but we're going to hang tight for now. And anyway, Ctis he's got another army up here, I think, that's making its way south a little bit, and then he's going to be raiding this way. So that's what's happening over here, and Makon is going to be moving in to go for the killing blow on Helheim over here. Meanwhile, in our portion of the world, our blood economy is humdinging along. We are getting, like this turn we got 50... God, it's only 100 a turn. I feel like we really kicked it up after this, but yeah, okay, it's not really going as fast as I thought. I really do. I gotta get more blood hunting set up. I don't want to do it in my high plot provinces, but we've got it going here. We've got it... Oh, I need to get it set up here, but it's not. Okay, anyway. We're outside searching with our god. And we have been summoning... We've got... Okay, we built a lab here. We've got a fort coming up here on the Throne of Splendor. We're forting this thing up immediately. Super... This is such an important throne for us. We also are taking all the corpses that are here, and we're slowly turning them into soulless. We got reinforcements coming up in terms of skeletons. And, yeah, we're just making sure that our presence up here is very secure. That nobody's going to come and take the throne. I do have a nap with Ctis, but I don't know. I don't want this throne to look tempting or anything like that. So there's that. And, yeah, that's basically it. We got blood hunting going. In terms of research, we're 3 turns away from Enchantment 7. And with that, we're going to go ahead and go into the next turn. And this will be mostly still observing other people's wars because we're chilling out. We could fight, but I don't think there's a huge advantage to us fighting right now. Wait, where did I cast Cloud Trapeze? Oh, I guess I Cloud Trapezed. Okay, so there were a few things I did last turn. You know, I mentioned we were attacking the throne for Helheim, which is right here. Oh, wait, no, there's a different place. Right here. So anyway, here's the throne. We come in with a bunch of sacreds. And they basically kill everything with a little bit of Skelly support. But I also went and started... I had one mage just move out normally. I had another mage Cloud Trapeze out. And we were trying to take some of Helheim's stuff. So what happens here is McCone basically attacked. I think these guys were sneaking in the province, doing a sneak attack. And anyway, they successfully take this from Helheim. He's been using a lot of these Bakemono. And then I come in with my thug, and I hit his Bakemono. And we leave no Bakemono behind. So far, they just kind of pick off these guys, but once they close in, our little imps are going to start building up. And once they build up, they're not letting anybody leave. So this was a nice little bump for us. Not only did we get the province, but we have denied a raiding party of McCone. Here McCone is taking this province from Atlantis, which apparently he negotiated for. He's got an E4 here, or no, a Girante. Ooh, is that a water-breathing amulet? It is. Just got some idiots that move in. And we see him move onto JB's Jaunt down here. And this is the army he's been using to kind of wreck them. Now, he has a Scrotty. You might be like, what is a Scrotty doing as part of a McCone army? Well, he friendship hatted it. And his friendship hat... Let's see if we can find it. I think it's part of this army. Yeah, here it is. It's on this guy. And he's put pin gear on him so he can make even more friends. And he's got a few of these Cyclopses with him. A pole mark. Another pole mark. This is not what I would consider a terribly scary McCone army. But with Legions of Steel, you know, these guys are pretty top tier troops for early age. So anyway, that's happening. We found some more magic sites. Litter Skull, which is one of the better sites in the game. 4 death gems, and it allows us to get necromancers. The necromancers, you know, are nice, but we've got, you know, I think Yogini are better. Death Mage can enter to summon Soulless. We have plenty of ways to get Soulless. And then, but it's really just 4 death gems. And then this one's 2. So this is a 6 death gem site here. This is super good. This actually is so good, it's almost worth kind of forting just to make sure it can't be raided. But I can protect it pretty well with Blood Hunters. So that's happening. Ctis moves this big doom stack on top of this fort. And there's really nothing here from Vanheim. And so it's looking like Vanheim is going to kind of roll over and die at this point. But I get word from Vanheim that he's planning on attacking this. And he said he's basically dead. So he told me to go ahead and vulture some of his stuff. So I did. I come in here and kind of attack that. And I think I've got my prophet who's crippled, so he's slow as shit. He's still... One thing you can do if you're crippled is if you put flying winged shoes on him, you actually fix your movement speed. Because it hard sets it to 20. It doesn't matter what your movement speed is. If you have winged shoes, it sets it to 20. So anyway, he's going to move down here, join this combat. We got one more turn to break through the siege. Here's the guy we cloud trap pieced in to kind of cut off McCone's entrance into the cave system. We're going to go ahead and move south, and I've got another thug coming in here to just take this stuff. It's possible that McCone attacks us. If he attacks us, we'll at least see. But we're not going to risk anything by keeping it here. He's got just a single hoplite on this in this province, but anyway, that's that. And yeah, we're just hanging tight. This province has the Brigand Lair, so it's got a shit ton of unrest. I'm moving these guys over here just to come and patrol the unrest down. Because I'm getting, like, nothing from this province. I really should set up a blood hunting operation here. So, anyway, that's kind of a more medium-term goal. Because it's not really near any of my blood mage production centers. I'd have to kind of wander them over here. But anyway, right now we're basically just planning to kind of vulture behind... Ctis, assuming he is successful conquering Vanheim. And Vanheim, he's going to try to bruise the Ctis army, but he doesn't think he can kill it. So anyway, we're just going to accept vulturing for now, and then We have the option to start attacking people in 2 turns, but I've still got a nap with Ctis, so that's not really on the table. Because I think he's my obvious war target when I did decide to go to war. But anyway, it's at least going to be an option for us to go on the offense. Okay, so that's turn 42. Let's go to turn 43. Turn 43. Please tell me I got more blood slaves this turn. This turn we got 50, 30, so that's 80, 115, and then 125. It's still not that many. I feel like I was getting more blood slaves. I really do have to turn this up. This is not enough. There's not enough blood slaves, guys. We need more. Especially for this point of the game. This actually is too low. And here we have a big battle. So this is probably going to be the coolest part of this episode. We've got Vanheim rolling out. He's brought everybody. All his Van Jarls. He's got this guy who's scripted to Thug. He's got this guy who's probably going to be doing Air Elementals. He's got this guy who's scripted to Thug. He's got these guys. The Vanadrot, who probably doing Storm. This guy doing, I don't know what, Thunderstrike or something. This guy doing Air Elementals, probably. These 2 guys doing Air Elementals, so a shit ton of Air Gems. And, more Air Gems, a shit ton of Air Gems. He also has this guy, a Dwarven Smith, who is going to be doing, he's a little weirdly positioned out here on the front, but his job is to do Earthquake. So let us watch. We've seen the Ctis army. It's going to be a big enslaved mind communion. Here come all the air elementals. We've got Storm up, and Storm makes the elementals a lot harder to hit. And then if they're zapping anything with their zappy claws, is this strength not added? No, it doesn't help, but it makes them hit more often. So the troops are pouring across. Earthquake is coming out, which it does mess up Elite Warriors, but it also really messes up the Skelly spam. And it's a little bit of like, can the Elite Warriors, and then Foul Vapors comes up, which is not good because he has no poison resistance in his bliss. But it came up a little late. It hasn't been up the whole battle. And it looks like there's a critical mass of air elementals at this point. And, yeah, that's that. So this is a pretty major Ctis army dying. And this is the second one that's died. He lost another one. That I don't know how... I didn't see it. So I don't know. I know it had a lot of mages in it, but I don't know how many. But this is a lot of Sarmancers that died. Now, a lot of the Sarmancers, I think, were twice-borned. So these kind of don't count as losses. But there's a lot of Shamans, too. So Ctis has a lot of forts, so he has a lot of mages. But this is still a pretty big loss. And then... I think he got these from a throne, these Morgan Knights and Champions. But, he lost a fair amount of troops, too. So, it wasn't cheap for Vanheim. He lost 2 Vanadrots, he lost some Van Jarls, and of course he spent just a boatload of air gems. And then he lost all his Van Heers. So it wasn't cheap. But it was a pretty devastating loss for Ctis. And I think this turn, I do send a message to Ctis. And it says, "It is with deep regret, fair lizards, that we must end our nap. We've had a long and prosperous alliance, but the lands of Lanka have long been idle, and the demon apes demand war. Even gods must appease their population. I expect this to be painful, and should our suspicions be confirmed, we'll happily return to peace rather than engage in mutual destruction." Since we had a nap 3 and it's turn 43 when this message is sent, you receive it on turn 44. Attack orders can be sent on turn 46 and received on turn 47. We wish you luck in the wars to come. So we've decided to end our nap with Ctis because they have lost all of this stuff. They have another force here, which was very mediocre compared to this other one, which further kind of leads me to think that Ctis has wasted a huge part of his army. And the other thing is, and this is something I've kind of been talking about a little bit, but I think I haven't really fully articulated. I think my suspicion is that the only reason Ctis wouldn't attack Makone, because it's such an obvious target for him, is that he really likes the Makone player. And if he attacks me, his plan must be that he and Makone then come attack me. I mean, to me, it's the only thing that could ever possibly make sense with this move. So because of that, I decide, if Ctis is really thinking this, even if we're being really friendly and chatty and talking a bunch, I probably need to go ahead and pull the trigger on war. So, that's why we're firing off that message. And I'm now able to, right? Like next turn I'll have enchantment 7. I'm not like timing this. Like, I could have sent it sooner if I wanted to time it perfectly with this, but anyway. We're going to run up, get Conjuration 4. I forget what we're getting Conjuration 4 for. What is it, Conjuration 4? It could just be Voice of Apsu. Because I do want to site search water, and we do have our water mages. I have a feeling that's it. Yeah. But getting access to Power the Spheres and stuff is also going to be a key ingredient in getting anti-magic and stuff off, and that will be important for fighting Ctis too. So, there's that. There is that. Yeah. Okay. I think... Yeah, we've got blood hunting finally starting to get it set up in this province. Do I have it set up here? I've got one guy here. We're moving in more troops. I don't know if I'm moving in... Oh, I'm moving in more blood mages here too. So this one's finally getting like properly turned on. A lot of our infrastructure's up. It's all making Raktapada. You can see a lot of things coming together. I'll just go through some of the infrastructure. We've got a bunch of researchers here with their quills. Here, this is mostly... We've got a few researchers. This is mostly an undead production site. This is mostly an undead production site. This is mostly researchers, and then this one is mostly researchers. And then down here, we've got, I think, mostly reanimators. We've also popped this fort this turn. And we had a few little raids here. Our thugs were successful. Makone did not attack us, but apparently Makone thought I might have attacked him, because he moved in a white mage. Presumably one kitted to potentially kill my guy should I have attacked him on sight. Which I'm not going to attack Makone, I don't think. It's a really awkward... Like, for me to logistically pull troops through this whole border and up here, I don't think it makes a ton of sense. Like, we would both be fighting, like, a proxy war. Like, his cap's over here, my cap's over here, and we're going to fight over this stuff. It seems pretty ridiculous. Especially since this is newly conquered land for both of us. So, yeah, I don't think he or I either want to do that. But we haven't even talked. Anyway. We have forted up, finally, this Cynocephalian Shaman province. Our first one was Air Astral, which is not bad, but I do have Crystal Amazon, so it's not exactly a new path for me. Yeah, we're going to be getting those every turn until we get an Earth Astral random. Let's take a look at our gem income. We're at 5 fire, we're at 18 air, we're at 6 water. We have a shit ton of water built up, by the way. We have 3 earth, which is not very... Earth's probably one of my weakest, which I probably should figure out a way to fix. We've got 4 astral, which is horrible. I think I've site searched actually a lot of astral. You can see we're actually really well site searched. There's just not much astral near me. So that's unfortunate. Death gem's phenomenal, 21, and nature gem's super phenomenal, 27. So all in all, not bad. I'll flash up the army graph again. Army size continuing to inflect. Keep an eye on this spike, though. This still looks kind of big. As this graph goes up, this will start getting compressed down. Yeah, and with that, we're going to start mobilizing a proper army up this way to fight Ctis. And we're going to put them here inside this fort where we'll launch our invasion from. I probably will also launch an invasion through this candle system But unfortunately, this is owned by Ubar, so I don't know how I'm going to get back up. So I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But anyway, we're going to go here and take this from him once our nap's over. But I'm not going to, technically this isn't exactly his. This is kind of Vanheim's, and I don't know. Vanheim could take it, then I could take it from Vanheim. Whatever. We're not so desperate. We're going to do strange things with the non-aggression pact. We'll just allow it to kind of chill out for a bit, and we'll take it when our nap ends. We've got a candle up here. Yeah, so that's going to be the plan. Build an army here. We've got demon production going like crazy. Not crazy. I guess we're only getting 10 this turn. But we're summoning more Rakshasa warriors, and then we're going to be sending them up. Undead production steaming ahead. We're sending reinforcements up this way. And with that, let's go ahead and go to turn 44. Turn 44. A message has arrived from McCone. Buying fire gems, 35 gold per. PM me if you want to stop being poor. This actually was in response to me kind of telling him to stop trolling the game by trying to sell people fire gems for 35 gold per fire gem when he's making 80 gold per fire gem on it. PM me if you want to stop being poor, please. I think I sent him a message back. I have a huge pile of fire gems burning a hole in my pocket. I'll send you 80 for 75 gold per. Yeah, like you want to do a fair deal? How about 75? He's like 35, 80, 75. 75 actually would do it. He could maybe negotiate me down to 70, but I wouldn't do 69, I don't think. Okay, we did 3 summon Rakshasa Warriors. I think the other place I'm summoning them is just up here directly, so I don't have to worry about transporting. And that's one of the great things about Lanka is you can, like, your mages are your production base. And your summons are pretty mage turn efficient. So you can reinforce actually very quickly just through summoning, which is kind of cool. Like, I think it kind of plays in with the demon theme of, like, summoning things from the abyss or something. Like, wherever your mages are, you just pull stuff out of the abyss, and there they are. You don't have to worry about moving them around from some, like, fort or something. We're sneaking Snooki back to Flats of Taurak, where she's going to live for a little bit. And yeah, we're getting ready for war. We're building up another army here, either to, if Vanheim starts falling, to McCone, because he's still fighting McCone. And my expectation is the literal second that he's done taking Helheim, McCone's going to turn on eating Vanheim. So anyway, once that happens, I want to be ready to vulture with, like, a powerful force, not with just garbage. So we've got, almost 100 sacreds here, chilling out, getting ready to be deployed, and that's basically the plan. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that's what's happening over here. Over here, yeah, we're grouping up. There's not too much to talk about. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, turn 45. Enough of this chitta-chatta. Let's get to the part where we go to war. We finished, I think this was all the way up to Conjuration 4, maybe? We found a magic site, Silver Sarcophagus. That's really nice. Astral Death. We're getting Shadow Imps, too. This is actually for my blood economy. They are upkeep free. So upkeep free scouts, the kind of scouts I do like. And they are going to help kind of ferry blood slaves around, because that is a very, very regular, an extremely regular part of my turns, is doing blood ferry micro. Apparently, like, sometimes I forget and I don't have a scout here, so, like, build them up on my patroller. Here we're ferrying them across. All of that blood hunting micro, which everybody loves. Okay. So that's happening. We're spamming out Voice of Apsu too. But this is the first turn, right? Because we just finished Conjuration 4. So anyway, Voice of Apsu going out. We've got, I don't know how many of these guys we've got. We're making more Mages of the Winter. I don't remember. Most of them are out site searching and somewhere. Like, here's one. He just site searched here. He's moving around. Kind of priming the pump. We already have a fair amount of water income, but we'll get a bit more. And but pretty shortly, where is he right now? I probably should have just Oh no, I am. I'm moving to a lab. We're gonna get all these mages of the winter wherever they're out site searching. They're just gonna go to a lab, and we're gonna spam out Voice of Apsu. We're not gonna bother moving them around to site search manually. And you can see we're starting to build up a pretty impressive force here, which is probably going to get Ctis's attention. He's got some dudes here, mostly elite warriors and some shamans. Nothing here that looks terribly scary. And my expectation is that with this army dead, and then, you know, he had some troops that we saw over here, but nothing that looks terribly scary. I'm hoping it's like an army of 200 dudes and a small communion, and we'll jump on the back, fly, and kill them. That's kind of my expectation. And all it takes is, like, you know, he's going to see this. He's going to have to do something high commitment. And if we kill something high commitment of his, then I think the war will basically be over. So yeah, that's kind of the rough plan for now. I do need to think about anti-magic. I'm not thinking about it now. I only start thinking about it last minute. And get an Astral Mage up there. But, you know, what are we going to do? Anyway, upwards and onwards. Turn 46. And this will be the last turn for this episode, but this also is the turn we issue attack orders. So we'll go through my script, and then next turn will be the start of the war. Helheim sent us a tiny death basket. The Lightless Islands here from Ubar, we paid for 6 fire gems per to help our horrible, horrible research economy get off the ground. For those of you who don't know, these little monkeys, they only research for 5 per. It's horrible. It's nothing in drain scales. So the research boosters make a huge difference. So anyway, that's what we're doing. But we got some lanterns, which is very nice. We cast Voice of Apsu. We found a Weeping Stone. I think that's 1. Yeah. Arcane Probing. Of course, we never find anything with Arcane Probing. And there's a battle in Helheim, which we'll get to watch. And I think this is the last stand. This is actually a very sad last stand. I'm going to go ahead and warn you. So he's got a ton of these air mages, right? He's got Van Jarls, which are air 2, right? So they can all do storm power, and then they can have storm up, and they can do thunderstrike at Macone. Which, if you imagine, he's got some death mages too. I say that. He's got some death mages too. Just the stream of skeletons trickling up here, filling the gate. You know, maybe he had spent a few turns doing reanimation or something too, so he had like a nice little alpha wave. Fill up the gate. And these Macone troops are all clustered up here, and he's dropping thunderstrikes on them. So he does, you can see storm power going off. Unfortunately, he never gets storm itself off. And I think when this happened, I ended up scrolling through here trying to figure out who he actually had to cast. We can do it. It's one of the... I forget the names of all these guys. It's one of the... Oh, not a Dis. I forget what the Hellcarl, no. I forget what the best ones are for Helheim. The Van Jarl... It's not a Vanadrot. I can't remember. It might have just... okay, I think this is what it was. This is actually my guess. I think it was this guy. I think it was this guy, and I think he put enough air gems on it that it like made storm not grayed out in the script. The thing is that whether it's red or gray or white lies to you. You can only... I think if you put enough gems on a guy, it'll start saying you can cast it sometimes when you can't even. You can only boost Magic Path by 1. You need to be... Let me make sure I get this right. You need to be Air 3 to cast Storm, right? And he's only Air 2. But I'm pretty sure, and we can probably test it. I don't have it researched. Anyway, we'll come back and watch it. But Storm doesn't go off. So he has Storm power, and then I think he ruins the rest of his script. Because there's no Thunderstrikes, which this would be just a tremendous amount of Thunderstrikes. But, like, first of all, these guys should probably be on hold and attack, because you don't want them running through the gate, right? You want them behind the gate, and they're very fast. Maybe they were. I don't know. or probably even on guard commander, right? And then have just the skeletons trickling forward. Like have them on guard commander up here at the front, and then maybe do wind guide. But like storm doesn't even go off, and so now he can't even do thunderstrike. And the difference between lightning bolt, or they're doing phantasmal warriors or something dumb. Okay, no, that's actually even worse. He does, presumably, this is my guess, he'd scripted thunderstrike and then attack, which is a bad idea, by the way. You just want to keep doing thunderstrikes in a situation like this. But yeah, they run forward and attack. So he's got all these Air 2 mages. He's literally got the perfect situation to drop just huge thunderstrikes and kill everything. And all his Air 2 mages with no gear, they run into attack and just get, killed by Scrotty. And I think he even gets some of them stolen by Friendship Hat Friend. He's got a Rune Smasher now, and yeah, he's going to come over and make friends with all of these guys. Thank you very much for fighting all the way to the bitter end and giving away some of your mages to the enemy. So, yeah, a little salty about that. But he did give a Svartalf, which gives an important cross path, a Van Hers, and a Van Jarl. All to them, which honestly they shouldn't have really ever been in melee or near them. They should have been dropping Thunderstrikes, which would have killed this whole army, I think, pretty easily. This is like an extremely easy battle to win for Helheim. So anyway, but that's the minions for you. That is the minions for you. Sometimes you attack Vanheim and you get as Ctis and you get your army crushed, and then other times you attack Helheim as Makone, and very, very easy battle for Helheim becomes very hard, and they lose decidedly and give you their mages while killing nothing. So sometimes that's just how Dominions works. Okay, I missed that. We took this fort though. So anyway, I think we went ahead and claimed this throne. Oh my god, did I not claim this throne? Did I not claim this throne? I might not want to though. I really need it. Oh no, I did. Did I miss it? Oh yeah, claimed by Snicky right here. So anyway. Yeah, so we are going to be attacking Ctis. We are out of the boring phase of the game. We've got cool things happening. For better or for worse, we are going to ride off into war. Basically, we've got these guys. Now, there's problems in my script, but we've got these guys on attack closest. We've got these guys on attack. I've got all these guys on attack rear, and I've got all these guys on attack rear. Now, this is one of the problems in my script. We'll see it in action next turn, but you really don't want all your sacreds on attack rear. You want some of them to guarantee you're hitting the flank, but you don't want all of them. You want them kind of split up. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Scripts. Okay, we're going to have a Sabbath communion set up. We've got some Sabbath slaves. These guys have cardiac casks. We've got, I think, did this turn Well of... No, this turn Well of Misery is going up, by the way. Okay, so... yeah, we're going to have a 4 slave Sabbath communion. We're going to be doing mass flight. I want to get it off turn 1 in case he does storm or something. We're going to have it off before that. And then Sabbath Master and then Invulnerability. Here we're going to be doing Communion Master Anti-Magic, Power of the Spheres, and then some buffs for our Communion slaves. And then Advance and Cast Spells, and she'll do Thunderstrike or Lightning Bolt or something. Here we're going to do Sabbath Master Divine Blessing. I don't actually have my Prophet here, so I do have to wait for turn 2 to do, my Blessing shenanigans, and then we're going to be dropping Bloodlust, Invulnerability, Mist Form, and then we're going to be doing turn 1 Serpent's Blessing in case he does Foul Vapors, and then we're going to do Sabbath Master and Relief. Now, if we didn't do Serpent's Blessing, it wouldn't guarantee we lose against Foul Vapors, just because we have Regen built into our Bless. But getting it off turn 1 is going to be nice. It's going to reduce the amount of afflictions we get, and of course it's going to make our regen actually regen rather than just essentially negate some of the poison. And then we're going to put relief up in case he does a fatigue play. And it's just going to help because, we'll be at 0 encumbrance basically for the whole fight. So it's a pretty nice buff. Help with skelly spamming. It'll help with our little communion a little bit too. And we're going to sneak in some slaves with some scouts with some gems. So that's basically the play. You can see we did fix a lot of our scouting information too. So we do have scouts running about where we can kind of see what's happening. But yeah, Macon is now huge. They cut the map north to south, but kind of in like a long, weird spaghetti pattern. So yeah, that's a thing. And yeah, we're going to be attacking this too. There's a big army up here. This looks kind of like a trap, and I don't really have enough stuff here. Like, I have this big pile of garbage. I'm building a palisade. It's got 3 months left. I don't really want to attack into this, especially if he does a PD dump and has mages. There's a good chance we lose this. So we're going to hang tight here. We're just going to attack through here. And this is Ctis' cap. So boom, boom, take their cap. That's the goal. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Come back next time, and we'll see the start of the Ctis War. So cheers.